ballerina daffodils here, which are just so sweet, and some hyacinth, and I'm not sure what the others are. Here we have our grapefruit tree. Again, lots of new growth, and you can see we've got a couple of grapefruits and new blossoms. Bare root strawberries that were planted, they're doing great. View of the garden as it looks at the end of February. Hi, it's Sharon from Ponderosa Garden Adventures, and I'm out here today in my backyard to do the February garden tour. I want to show you what's going on and let you see what's happening in Zone 10A at the end of February. Come on along with me. I thought I'd start today by just giving you an overall view of the garden as it looks at the end of February, and then just kind of take you along and show you briefly what's going on. So the Cape daisies are blooming, which is lovely. Gives us a nice green hedge with the bright yellow flowers, and the Mexican sage is blooming nicely. The hummingbirds love this plant right there. And I have some things that when I revamped and cleared out Provence here, my kitchen garden, I took the plants that were in there out. One of them was this snapdragon here. I've trimmed it down, and we will rehome that in a different part of the garden. And same thing here with some salvia and some oregano. We've got some peppers and some parsley. All of the urns here, the bunny, as you know from previous videos, ate all of the little underplantings, but all of the eucalyptus are doing just fantastic. I'm really happy with those. So let me take you along and show you what's going on in these urns as we walk down this way in the garden. So the gar is coming back, and we've got some other things coming in there. Princess Charlene Rose is just getting ready to explode, one of my favorites. We've got a vinca here, the plum tree, which we are going to be trimming this weekend. We've got multiple fruit trees in our orchard here, and we've done the peach tree in the front. We've got a little bit to do on our pear tree, and one other peach tree to do, but we're catching up. And here's more of the urns. All of the eucalyptus are doing just great, and so I'm anxious to underplant them again. I have to figure out something to keep the bunny from eating all of the underplanted things, maybe some sort of chicken wire or something. This area here was our perennial garden, my perennial garden, and because of the preparation for the greenhouse that will be coming in, we had to take some things out and kind of dismantle it. So I will be reconfiguring this area. I'm using this as an opportunity to make some changes in the garden and think about what I really want long term, and so I'm thinking about the configuration and where I want things to go. Over here are our iris plant. We had one iris plant and we split it in. We're going to have many plants from that. So Mark and I did some pruning this week on all of the shrubs and bushes. So I'll take you up this way and you can see got another Gora in here. This one is a white Gora. I need to trim off last year's growth and it'll come back great. We are again moving some of the hardscape in the garden, so we're kind of in process right now. That's kind of what winter gardening is sometimes, is all of the hardscape and structure. Here we have Corfu, Mark's garden, and he's only growing flowers this year. He's not growing any edibles. You can see he's got seeds that are sprouting. He's got his flowers. In this wine barrel here, we have some snapdragons and some alstroemeria, which is in there, which is coming back. It's a perennial. All right, and as we head back down this way, we have moved the couches out of our fire pit area over here where the greenhouse will be temporarily. Over here we have our avocado tree. When we planted this tree, it's been about 5 years ago, we bought two and planted them together. The first one died the first year. This one has struggled, but it's still hanging in there, so we will trim it up and give it some TLC and hope we can nurse it back. I pruned up the potato bushes here on the other side of the planter, and I'm going to take you back into Paradiso. Not many changes back here. Over here we have the bare root strawberries that were planted. They're doing great. Can't wait to have those grow and ripen up. Mark's asparagus patch, he's cut those back. And with all of the greenhouse materials and the soil and everything stored back here, we really haven't been able to get back here and get after this area. The artichokes are looking fabulous. The pumpkin arch garden, which my son Devin helped plant up, we haven't had anything sprout. My guess is that we had the seeds planted just a little too deep, and so they didn't get enough light to germinate. So we will plant this up and try again. Our black peppermint willow is doing great. I wish that we had a little more space around it, but it has enough room. But it struggled for a while, and now it's really picking up height. I'm really happy about that. We have our silver lining rose and our iceberg rose here, which is ready to explode. But I have a purple lilac vine that's going to go in here, and I think that's going to trail really nicely over the arch here. So I'm just going to replace that with the rose of my choosing. So here is our planter that we planted up. We planted the seeds together here for cilantro and bunching onions and peas. So we've got some great germination going on here. I'll show you over here. So let me show you back here. We come up towards the shed here. My geranium, I love this color. It's just so vibrant. It just draws you back here. And then I have a matching one here that hasn't bloomed yet, but they're looking great. In our basket up here, the snapdragons have come back, and we'll see. It looks like there's a couple little sprouts, but that was the only thing that made it here. And I have a morning glory here. That's doing great. You see we have a couple others that have sprouted there. And then back in here is my potting area. Again, getting ready for the Santa Ana. We've kind of piled some things back here, but we will get this all cleaned up and ready for the season coming soon. Back here, I just want to show you this area. This is where I stored my bulbs that were in containers from the front yard. And I'll show you what those are looking like now. So here are our containers of bulbs. We've just gathered them up and brought them into the cart here. We're going to place them out here in the backyard, but I need to find somewhere where they're going to be secure from the bunny, so the bunny doesn't come and munch all the foliage. We have some ballerina daffodils here, which are just so sweet, and some hyacinth, and I'm not sure what the others are, but we will get these placed out. Then we have our yucca plant here doing fabulous, and our pear tree, which is getting swollen here, ready for blossoms to come soon. Over here we have our grapefruit tree. Again, lots of new growth, and you can see we've got a couple of grapefruits and new blossoms, so it's very happy here. This is our onion patch. You can see some have come up from last year that were self-seeded, and we'll be planting some more. This is our fire pit area that we call Kilauea. You can see the fire pit here. We've taken those couches out of here. It's really opened the area up. And right now my son Devin has his succulents in here, the big ones anyway. We want to find a new home in the garden landscape somewhere for this big spiny cactus so that nobody gets injured. So we're looking to rehome these plants in the garden someplace. We haven't been able to get in and prune. I've got 3 roses here growing on the frame here, and I haven't been able to get in and prune them. You can see here the rose hips that we have. I don't know if with the light if you can see that well. So we've got 3 roses, a yellow, a pink, and a red, and then we've got a bougainvillea plant here in the middle, and then one on the corner over there. And it looks like in here we might have an orchid that has sprouted. I'll have to come around the other side, it's hard to see. And the red rose here on the end I have growing onto the trellis here, and it's got new growth coming too. And our aloe has a bloom on the top there. Some more of the yucca and a hibiscus, a palm tree that needs to again be relocated. That was a volunteer. And here is the other bougainvillea. You can see the bloom color here. We're going to put an arch back here in the back so that it can grow over the arch. I think that'll look really nice. Back here we have, be careful of the bougainvillea thorns here. Those are quite intense. We have our pineapple grove here. And then I'll give you a long shot down here. You can see our grapevine arch. I've been working on pruning the grapevine. It was very overgrown, so I'm still working on that. Along here and up over the top there's quite a bit to trim and take off. And over here on this side we have our raspberry, and there's still leaves down in there. I need to trim it off and give it some fertilizer and some water, and hopefully that will take back off. This blueberry here did not make it, but this one here is very happy in its life. It is blossoming all over the place, and I am looking forward to lots of blueberries coming. Through here we've got our privet hedge and another Charlene rose here. This is my Windsor flower bed, and we are doing a revamp of this bed. What happened is we had moles and gophers come back this season. We haven't had a big problem in the back for quite a few years, but this past season we did. And so we are going to put in hardware cloth, and then we're going to hit this with some nematodes. We found a few small grubs, and so we are going to be working on that in the next week or two. Then in here, another geranium and some gladiolas. I had gladiola bulbs that I had in here for the longest time, and then there were little babies, and I spread them around, and they're coming up and doing great. Here's some more gladiolas and another geranium, and I stuck a few lavender cuttings in there, and they are taken off, and I've got one in here as well. So I'm happy about that. Can't have enough lavender. Our apple tree, which is blossoming, we've got apples on here, you can see, and this is a 5 variety grafted apple tree, and it's small but mighty. It gives us great harvest of apples, and I think probably the Annas are my favorite. Over here we've got our bird bath and some more lavender. This was to replace one that was about 5 years old, and it had run its course, and so I replaced that. We have all of the hardware things from Windsor that are sitting in Charlemagne here, but the roses, the mini roses, are doing great. They've all starting to leaf out again, and so I'm looking forward to those coming back. We have some verbena and geranium in our urns over here. And I can see the verbenas just starting over here. And then we also have a mandevilla in here, which usually comes back June or July, somewhere later in the season. Our kumei bed here had a very rough end of the season. We had gophers come in and dig up on this side over here trying to get to the kangaroo paw, and I was able to cover that, and it's recovered nicely and has blooms. But the other thing that happened is the dogs were going for the gophers, so it all got dug up, and so we have to completely redo this. I need to trim the lavender and get that trimmed down, and it's just, again, it's an opportunity to rethink this bed and what I want to have in here, and do something new for the season. We have some calendula here, which is just so sunny and bright. The orange next to the lavender is so nice. And this was a volunteer plant that was back by our 4x4, that when we were dismantling the 4x4, we dug some of those up and planted them, transplanted them, and it's taken and it's doing just great. I've got another one in a pot here on the other side I'll show you. Over here, across from kumei, I have our roses, and we just did the rose trimming video just a few weeks ago. You can see it's already starting to leaf up. They're all very happy with the trimming and the fertilizing, and it won't be long until this will be beautiful and we'll have roses to cut and bring in the house. And then we've got the last one over here, our At Last rose, also bursting, ready to get going. And of course we have our rain barrel that we just installed recently. I'm happy that it's going to be getting some more rain coming this weekend to help fill that up. We've been using that rainwater for watering our plants. Along this edge of Tuscany, we have our citrus, and this poor orange, we did not get it covered in time earlier in the season and when we had frost, and it just did not handle it well. So it has new growth, so we'll hope it's going to survive, but it really had a rough time. Our lime tree, on the other hand, is perfectly happy and lots of blossoms, and that one's doing great. This is a mini rose that has multicolor. Again, coming back. Another geranium. I haven't planted any new spring color flowers out here in the garden yet, so Mark has kind of got the market cornered on that in Corfu right now. Our Satsuma tangerine tree is doing fine. Looks like we've got something going on there with the leaves. We'll have to take a closer look and make sure. I don't think Mark has sprayed the citrus yet, so we'll need to make sure that we feed these and get them some spraying to take care of any pests. And again, we're back down here, down this walkway towards the grapevine arch and the back side of Tuscany. The succulents are a great thing to do in the fall time because they make it through the fall and the winter, and they give us color, and they're just really zero maintenance, and I love that. Here is my Sweet William, or Dianthus. I did a video on saving this. This was from Windsor, and it looked like just a dead stick, but I could see some growth points on it, and so I trimmed it down and got it potted up, and it has new growth coming in, so it should be a beautiful plant in another month or so. This is another calendula, and again, it needs a little trimming and care, but we will catch up on that. We've been behind on that because of my injuries. My back and my shoulder kept me from being out in the garden a lot for the last several weeks, but I'm doing better, and so hopefully we will get back on track. Mark's done a great job of trying to keep things going. Got these lavenders here. I bought one lavender plant. I could see it had 3, and I split them up, and they are perfectly happy. In fact, this one looks like it's getting ready to bloom. Isn't that nice? All right. Well, thanks for joining me today on our backyard February garden tour. I hope you enjoyed seeing what the garden looks like at the end of February in our Zone 10A garden, and I hope you'll come along with us in March for the rest of our garden videos. There's going to be a lot of planting, a lot of changes, a lot of projects, and just some exciting things coming. So thanks again for joining. I hope you'll hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below and let me know what your plans are for your garden for the upcoming season. See you next time.